Hello and welcome. I thought I'd do a different kind of video because it's misty and frosty in here. And for anyone who thinks that I put a background of throbbing gristle on, it's not, it's the machines in the chicken shed. Which kind of makes it almost an industrial woodland video. I mean, industrial in terms of music genre. Yeah, can you hear the rhythm? That sounded like a buzzard. Well, it is -2 and my nose is dripping, so please excuse that. But I wanted to have a quick word about intuition. Let's take a look at the meadow, because I find that I work things out through intuition, sudden bursts of enlightenment or realization. Well, can you hear the buzzard? Pew, pew. Kind of sound. I can't do an impression of it. But intuition works by some kind of inner instinct. You get a feeling. A lot of people say, I can feel it in my bones, I can feel it in my water, I can feel it in your stomach. Back in the late 60s, early 70s, I grew up without a television, and I was into music, and so I loved the Pick of the Pops programs. I never had Top of the Pops, I never saw it. And I remember if there was a certain person who came on, then it would just totally depress me and also make me angry. Now, I couldn't explain it. I couldn't explain it at all. Until recently it became very clear. Well, the man's name was Jimmy Savile. And I violently reacted against him. It's like, I can't explain it. It's like all my body went, ah! As a child, you know. I also got it with someone called Rolf Harris. I don't know, you know, anyone watching from another country might not know these people. And I didn't know until recently that those two were in cahoots, but I couldn't stand either of them. They just creeped me out. And as a child, that was my intuition working. That was my intuition telling me there was something desperately wrong with these people. They weren't normal or right in the head. A lot of people, they want you to explain it with logic. And by its very nature, intuition isn't explainable with logic. Because it's a feeling. So if you know someone or hear someone who's telling you things that you don't really understand or don't make sense to you logically, unless they've got a record of getting these things wrong time after time, then really we need to heed these people, because they can see things that we can't. I mean, you have to train your intuition. You have to train your brain to recognise it, basically, because it won't just suddenly appear unless you're aware of it. I mean, you know, my mum taught me about mine, strangely, and that I worked all the rest out by being proved right time and time again. And certainly last year I was proved 100% right in so many things that I wish I hadn't given in and not gone with what I felt. So I thought I might do some hindsight tarot readings if anyone's interested. I'd like to illustrate this with a true story from my childhood. My friend Gary, my brother and I, we all had a favourite band, and they were different. My brother's was AC/DC, Gary's was Jethro Tull, and mine was Led Zeppelin. And there was one particular day, I can't remember what we were doing, but we were all together. We probably went on one of our long walks. Because back then we could go anywhere. it was great. So we were out on this long walk, and Gary suddenly said, I think John Bonham's gonna die soon. And we said, how'd you work that out? And he said, well, John Glasscock, the bassist of Jethro Tull, he died recently. Bon Scott's just died. I think John Bonham's going to die soon. And how right he was. I remember hearing the news on my little transistor radio on Radio Luxembourg. I think it might have been after listening to some European football commentary. But yeah, isn't that interesting? I mean, that's the first time I ever properly came across something like that. You know, and saw it in the flesh, as it were. So there you go, there's some food for thought. I always like to illustrate my stories with some real things that have actually happened. Because all these things you go through, they're what you learn from. And if you see more than one of a specific kind of thing happen, then you know, it would be daft for you to ignore it, wouldn't it? Anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time. Ta-da.